Feel like you're faking it? In this video, I'll give you the top 20 chords every real songwriter needs to know. You're walking to the cinema. You don't often go to the cinema, but you thought you'd go and see the latest comic book franchise film. You've got a day off work, and because it's a weekday morning, you're hoping you have the place to yourself. You buy a ticket for the next showing. How much? Seems like everything is expensive now. You look at the price of popcorn and drinks and decide to avoid it as this is getting out of hand. You're going to meet your friend in the pub this afternoon anyway. They run an open mic night and you want to check it out and brainstorm some songwriting ideas to potentially play there. It's been playing on your mind a bit. You've never done anything like that before and you're worried that you'll mess it up and be seen as a fake or an imposter. You walk along a large corridor to screen 6. Yes, it's empty. The trailers are almost over. I think I've hit the jackpot here. You've always said that the worst thing about the cinema is other people, chatting and eating noisily. The trailer's finish and the screen goes off. There's an eerie silence and the room feels freezing cold. Who are you? You ask nervously. That is not important. I am here to help you. Okay, is this a joke? Is this a promotional thing for that horror film they played the trailer for? I hear you're playing an open mic. Yes, well, maybe, but how do you know about that? If you don't want to feel like a fake at your open mic, then you need to know the chords that real songwriters use. I'll give you my top 20 now. Look, that sounds interesting, but I haven't really got time. The open mic night is not for a week or more anyway. I just want to watch the film now. It's only comic book franchise 10-4DXL. It will be predictable as ever. I like these films, okay? Sometimes all I want is a bit of escapism. And right now, you're getting in the way of it. Alright, that's fair enough. Don't worry. This will be quick and simple. I'll give you example songs for every chord type to help you. Alright then. You think this scenario is a bit weird, but go along with it. But where did this top 20 list come from? It is my list. I chose them to help you. Well, that's very kind, but I don't know who you are. Who made you an authority on chords? I have worked with artists across time and space. Trust me, this will help you. Let's begin with number 20, major chords. Hang on, I understand enough to know how important major chords are. Why are they not number 1? You're correct, but knowing about major chords will help you with all of the other chords. Think of them as a basic building block for chord knowledge. In this example, the major chord, we use the first, the third, and the fifth interval from the scale. The first note is also known as the root note. This is where the chord gets its letter name from. Hey, I recognise this narrator from somewhere. He sounds a bit boring, but that was still informative. Major chords are found everywhere. An example of a song that only uses major chords is Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen. Next, number 19, minor chords. In this example, the minor chord, we use the first, the flat or minor third, and the fifth interval from the scale. Another way to approach this is if you know a major chord, which is constructed with the first, third, and fifth note, you simply drop the third note by half a step or a semitone and use the same first and fifth. Minor chords are also very common, but songs entirely with minor chords are rare. The Imperial March from Star Wars is a good example of a predominantly minor tune. Oh, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. That's a really menacing theme. In at 18, it's sus2 chords. These sound a bit sus, yes? Don't worry about it. If we add the second note in the major scale to the first and fifth, then we create a sus2 chord. To create a C sus2 chord, we add the second note to the first and fifth, which looks like C, D, and G. For an example, check out the song Feel a Whole Lot Better by Tom Petty. At 17, it's diminished chords. A diminished chord is constructed with the first or root note, the flat or minor third, and the flat or lowered fifth. You may see this written like this: 1, flat 3, flat 5. An easy way to remember this is as a minor chord with the fifth note dropped by a semitone or half a step. This is why it is sometimes known as a minor flatted fifth. If we take the C minor chord and drop the fifth note by a semitone or half a step to G flat, then we have a C diminished chord. For an example of diminished chords in action, listen to Benny and the Jets by Elton John. Now at 16, it's power chords. Oh, I love these with a bit of distortion. The first and the fifth. These two notes make up a fifth or a power chord. Technically speaking, the fifth chord is not a chord at all. A chord traditionally has 3 or more notes. Having only 2 notes, the first and the fifth, means that a fifth chord could be called a dyad. If we take away the third note, we are left with the first and fifth, giving us a C fifth chord with the notes C and G. These are another really common one, but for a classic example, listen to Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Number 15 is dominant seventh chords, also called simply seventh chords. To create a dominant 7 chord, we take these 3 major chord notes and add a flat or minor 7th note from the major scale. This note is half a step or a semitone below the 7th note. Another way to think of it is as a whole step or tone below the root note. So in order to create our C dominant 7 chord, we take the C major notes and add the flat 7 as a 4th note. This means that the C dominant 7 has the notes C, E, G, and B flat. Indulge in the bluesy power of seventh chords by listening to the timeless I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Next at number 14 are the unappreciated augmented chords. This gives us first, third, and sharp fifth. C augmented therefore has the notes C, E, and G sharp. Chuck Berry was a big fan of these, as found in School Days and No Particular Place to Go. Unlucky for some, it's number 13 and major 7th chords. To create a major 7th chord, we take these 3 major chord notes and add a 7th note from the major scale. This note is half a step or a semitone below the root note. So in order to create our C major 7th chord, we take the C major chord notes and add the 7th from the scale as a 4th note. This means that C major 7th has the notes C, E, G, and B. Indulge with the major 7th chords in the superb What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. At number 12, it's a popular but often neglected category, inverted chords. I've heard about these but never quite understood. If we rearrange this order, so the lowest bass note is no longer the first note, then we create an inversion. The major chord first inversion is when we place the third note as the lowest bass note in our chord. The order of the first and fifth notes above this are not important. So from lowest to highest pitch, it could be third, first, fifth, or third, fifth, first. The major chord second inversion is when we place the fifth note as the lowest note in our chord. Again, the order of the first and third note above this do not matter. So from lowest to highest pitch, it could be fifth, first, third, or fifth, third, first. These appear everywhere. A nice example is found in the brilliant Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. In at 11 is the add 9 chord. If we take these triads and add a 9th note from the major scale, then we create an add 9 chord. So C add 9 has the notes C, E, G, and D. And C minor add 9 has the notes C, E flat, G, and D. Beautiful examples of add 9 chords can be found in Golden Slumbers by the Beatles. Now it's time for the top 10. Are you excited? It's been informative, but I think excited is the wrong word. Okay then, creeping into the top 10, it's minor 7th chords. To create a minor 7th chord, we take these 3 minor chord notes and add a flat or minor 7th note from the major scale. This note is a whole step or tone below the root note. So in order to create our C minor 7th chord, we take the C minor chord notes and add the flat 7th note from the scale as a 4th note. This means that C minor 7th has the notes C, E flat, G, and B flat. Check out minor 7th chords in the powerful Redemption song by Bob Marley. Now it's dominant 9th or simply 9th chords. A dominant 9th uses the dominant 7th chord notes and adds a 9th note from the major scale. Therefore, to create a C dominant 9th chord, we take the C dominant 7th chord notes and add the 9th note, which gives us C, E, G, B flat, and D. Find these chords in The Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd. In at number 8, it's minor sixth chords. To create a minor sixth chord, we take these 3 minor chord notes and add the 6th note from the major scale. This means that the C minor sixth has the notes C, E flat, G, and A. Listen to how wonderful these chords can sound in the Beach Boys classic, God Only Knows. Time for another sus chord now at number 7, sus4 chords. If we add the 4th note in the major scale to the 1st and 5th, then we create a sus4 chord. To construct a C sus4 chord, we take out the 3rd note and replace it with the 4th note, which gives us C, F, and G. Listen out for sus4 chords in Crazy by Niles Barkley. A close relative of the previous entry at number 6, 7 sus4 chords. 7th suspended 4th chords have 4 notes, 1st, 4th, 5th, and flat or minor 7th. And if you do the same thing with the C dominant 7th chord, then you get a C 7th suspended 4th chord. Discover this interesting chord in the epic Tarkus by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. In at 5 is the major 9th chord. A major 9th chord uses the major 7th chord notes and adds a 9th note from the major scale. Therefore, to create a C major 9th chord, we take the C major 7th chord notes and add the 9th note, which gives us C, E, G, B, and D. Drift away with these chords in the Hall & Oates song, I Can't Go For That. In at 4, it's 7 sus2. 7th suspended 2nd chords have 4 notes, 1st, 2nd, 5th, and flat or minor 7th. And if you do the same thing with the C dominant 7th chord, then you get a C 7th suspended 2nd chord. Hear the beautiful bittersweetness of this chord in Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. That's a great film and a beautiful song. Into the top 3 now. At number 3, it's the minor 11th chord. Minor 11th chords have 6 notes, 1st, minor 3rd, 5th, minor 7th, 9th, and 11th, the A minor 11th chord. Check out this smooth and interesting chord in Everybody Dance by Chic. Just missing out on the top spot, it's minor 9th chords at number 2. A minor 9th chord uses the minor 7th chord notes and adds a 9th note from the major scale. Therefore, to create a C minor 9th chord, we take the C minor 7th chord notes and add the 9th note, which gives us C, E flat, G, B flat, and D. Indulge in the smooth minor 9th with Al Green's Let's Stay Together. And at number 1 is the major 6th chord. Major chords are created with 3 notes from the major scale, 1st, 3rd, and 5th. To create a major 6th chord, we take these 3 major chord notes and add the 6th note from the major scale. This means that C major 6th has the notes C, E, G, and A. Widely associated with the Beatles, consider hunting this chord out in the Steely Dan classic, Kid Charlemagne. There you have it. Learn how to use these chords and your open mic night will be a success. Yes, great, thanks. Can I watch my film now? Absolutely. Enjoy the show. You've learnt 20 chords for songwriters, but this knowledge doesn't mean you'll be able to make interesting songs. This can be solved by learning about time signatures that can be found in the video on screen. Make sure you watch that next to put your chord mastery to great use.